Welcome to my book review on how to win friends and influence people, a book that had the most amount of impact on the way that I saw relationships and people, and that enabled me specifically with management and recruitment to build my business and drive the business forward. And I love this quote by Warren Buffett: Carnegie changed my life. Dale Carnegie was the author of the book, and Warren Buffett, who is one of the wealthiest men on earth, he actually stated that he took down his degree from either Harvard or Yale, one of the two, from the wall and swapped it with a certificate of how to win friends and influence people because he completed Dale Carnegie's course. That's how powerful and potent the teaching is. It's a business management book. First published in 1936. It was then updated in 1981. So there are books and versions out there that are old. This is the most recent one, I believe, and it has sold over 30 million copies in its history in its entirety. And How to Win Friends and Influence People is a book for those who are seeking to develop their interpersonal skills. There are people that want to build stronger and more meaningful connections by becoming more persuasive and influential. The focus on empathy and positive reinforcement make it really valuable for anyone looking to develop their effectiveness in relationships in both personal and professional environments. And I've said it's timeless, making it just as relevant today as it was when it was first published. It offers practical and actionable advice that can be implemented straight away. So its overarching concept is it emphasizes the vital role of genuinely engaging with others, actively listening, and making others feel important. A quote by Henry Ford that was taken and actually used in the book was, "The secret lies in getting the other person's perspective and see things from their angle as well as from your own." The message is based on four themes, and this is how the book is broken down: empathy and understanding, the importance of seeing things from others' perspectives and understanding their desires; positive reinforcement, sincere appreciation and positive reinforcement over criticism and negative feedback; communication skills, active listening, real listening, and engaging with others' interests are crucial for building strong relationships, as well as influence through cooperation, which is best achieved through making others feel valued rather than through coercion, being forced to do something. So the major lessons of How to Win Friends and Influence People essentially is based on the book being broken down into four parts. So the first part is the fundamental techniques in handling people. Three principles here: don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Make sure you give honest and sincere appreciation. Arousing the other person an eager want. Those three things are really key in when handling and dealing with people. Another one is to become a bit more likable and ways to make people like you. So there's 6 principles here. The first one is to become genuinely interested in other people. Always smile. I always say this about smiling. People are very specific and very careful about what they wear on their body in terms of their clothing and how they appear, in their appearance. But rarely does the people take note of what they're wearing on their face. So smile. Principle 3, remember that a person's name is, to that person, the sweetest sound in any language. Principle 4 is be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. And this goes back to why I emphasized that point before about active listening. How many times, and this is one thing to become aware of, when you're actually supposedly listening, you're not. You're just waiting for the other person to stop so you can then butt in with your assumption, opinion, whatever. Really take time to listen to what the other person is saying. Once you step into that and really understand the power of listening, and then principle 5, which is then talking in terms of the other person's interests, by firstly following principle 1, which is becoming genuinely interested in other people, there is so much power involved in that. You then make the other person feel important. Principle 6 is to make other people feel important. Do it sincerely. This is a powerful formula for anyone that wants to really drive forward with teams start to build your business through other people, you need to get out of your own head. This is the main thing. Get into other people's world. The third part is how to win people to your way of thinking. This is about influence. The only way to get to the best of an argument is to avoid it. Principle 2, show respect for the other person's opinions. Never say you're wrong. Ever say you're wrong to somebody else. Principle 3, if you are wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. Put down your ego, essentially. Principle 4 is always begin in a friendly way. Principle 5, get the other person saying yes, yes immediately. They teach this a lot in sales. Principle 6, let the other person do a great deal of the talking. Typically when we talk, we think we're engaging the other person. Where in actual fact, if we let them talk and do a lot of the listening, you're engaging the other person. That person will come away thinking, that person understands me. They let me share. They let me, download my energy onto that person or whatever. There's an exchange in value when you let the other person do a lot of the talking. As well as that, you get to understand their model of the world. Principle 7 is let the other person feel that the idea is theirs. So even if it's your idea, and they start to, even if it's your idea that you're trying to put across in a meeting or whatever, try and get it to be that it's their idea. Or if they come up with ideas within your idea, sub things that could be done, really hone in on that. Make them feel important about sharing their ideas around your idea. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, what a great idea. Those sort of, that feedback, and making them feel like their input is warranted. Principle 8, try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. This is really key. Everyone's going through something. Everyone's got something that they are struggling with, a challenge, need help with. And people don't mean to do things. There's always something else that is going on. So in an instance where somebody's not hitting their targets, or somebody's done something quote unquote bad, try and honestly see things from the other person's perspective. Maybe there's a reason why they didn't do the thing properly. Are the systems in place properly? Has the training been good enough? Whatever, in the context of staffing. But in any case, try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. That takes a lot of maturity. Principle 9, be sympathetic with the other person's ideas and desires. Don't shoot them down. Really, go into that and say show sympathy, but be engaging. Give them energy around their ideas and their desires, and really help them see it. Principle 10, appeal to their nobler motives. So get them to align to more noble, more honourable means, not just materialism. What else is on the inside that can help them become better people? Dramatise your ideas and throw down a challenge, Principle 12. Principle 12, throw down a challenge, is great in any sales environments, any competitive environments. People love a challenge. We are competitive in nature, and this appeals to that. And the last part, which is the last part of the 4 parts of the book, is to be a leader. How to change people without giving offense or arousing resentment. Because one of the hardest things to do is change somebody else or help them evolve and develop. But the first principle is to begin with praise and honest appreciation. Make people feel appreciated. Principle 2, call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. Never directly go to the mistake. Go a roundabout way. Go a way of so it's quite indirect. So you're not actually pointing it out blatantly. Or the language you use. Did that happen? What happened there? Oh, did you mean to do that? Don't be so direct with showing people what they're doing wrong. Most of the time they don't mean. Principle 3, talk about your own mistakes before criticizing the other. you know, very, very, very important. I've done this before when I was in a sales, for example, I've done this before. When I was in a sales job, I used to make this mistake all the time. But I learned that I needed to do this because of X, Y, and Z. If you're seeing a salesperson making a mistake, you can use that as a narrative. Principle 4, ask questions instead of giving direct orders. So if I gave you this to do, could you do it by that date? Instead of, could you do this by that date? And principle 5, let the other person save face. So, there's no point in letting somebody else be ridiculed or know that they're wrong or admit to failure. Don't do that to somebody else. That's not nice. And principle 6, praise the slightest improvement and every improvement. In the words of Abraham Lincoln, I think it says, be hearty in your approbation and lavish in your praise. So if you see things, mention it. And this goes against our natural way in that most employers, most parents, fathers, mothers, whatever, will be very quick to point out what's wrong, but very slow to point out what's right. In actual fact, we've got to switch that and be quick to point out what's good, what's right. And be slow to point out what's wrong. Not necessarily slow, but that takes a bit more tact. That needs to be more tactical and tactful in your approach. Principle 7, give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. This is an amazing one. This is what I call the labeling technique. If you tell somebody that they are the most experienced person in the team or the most driven person on the team, you're giving them that label. You're giving them, in their own mind, a reputation. You're telling them how you see them. They will then start to live up to that reputation or that label. It's a very, very powerful one. Principle 8, use encouragement. Make the fault seem easy to correct. Encourage people. Look, this happens all the time. What you've done here, that's easily done. But it's easily to solve and resolve. Let's do it together. Or come up with a plan, a solution for how you're going to make it work. I know you can do it. It's easy. I've done it before. If I can do it, you can do it, sort of thing. So use encouragement. Principle 9, make the other person happy about doing the things you suggest. And you do that by stepping into their world and trying to get them to understand that if they do something for you, there's something in it for them. So what is in it for them? So this is the practical advice of how to win friends and influence people. Stuff that you can start doing today. Example 1, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Instead of criticizing employees for mistakes, acknowledge the challenges faced and offer support to improve. This will foster a positive and constructive work environment. So don't criticize for their mistakes. Acknowledge there are challenges. For example, in my situation, in my growing business, there's a mistake been made. But look, I know these mistakes will happen because we're a fast-paced growing company. Not everything's perfect. But let me show you how we can improve it. Just that sentence beforehand is really important. Example 2, give honest and sincere appreciation. When a colleague successfully completes a project, express genuine appreciation for their hard work, achievement, which reinforces their value and motivates continued effort. So be really pat on the back, well done. People really need this. What I've gained and what I've gauged from 15 years of management and entrepreneurship and recruitment and hiring and everything else is that people actually have a low self-esteem. There's not a lot of people that have high self-esteem, and your job is to get them to believe in themselves. And typically when someone completes something, they've just, in most cases, done the best of their ability. Everyone's doing the best in what they've got. So give them that appreciation. Example 3, arousing the other person with eager want. So when negotiating, instead of pushing for what you want, frame your offer in terms of how it benefits the other party, aligning your goals with their needs and desires. So for example, if someone comes to you wanting a pay rise, and you're trying to push for what you want, no, the company can't afford it, X, Y, Z, whatever you're saying to them back. So look, in actual fact, we can afford it. How can we afford it? Because it's not about we can't. Frame your offer in terms of how it benefits the other party. So look, I can't do this now, but I want to give you this pay rise because this is your need and this is your desire. So let's work out a way of getting there. If you do this, I earn the business more money, I can give you this pay rise. Now, how are we going to get you there together? Because we both want this. Those sort of narratives are really important. Again, what else can you start doing today? Example 4 is about becoming genuinely interested in other people. So when networking, for example, focus on asking questions about the other person's interests. Listen attentively, which will show genuine curiosity and help build rapport. When I go networking, I'm actually trying to do about 25% of the talking. A lot of my talking is, okay, so how does that work? Who do you do that with? Did you like that? And you're probing for their likes, their needs, and you're just understanding their psychology. And they will go away remembering you because you listened. And that is what builds rapport. You're letting them build energy with you instead of you constantly doing the talking. Example 5, try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. So take time to understand the other party's perspective. What are they going through? They may be going through things you're unaware of. So just understand that people are going through things. And then express empathy for their concerns. You may have fear attached to something, because this can facilitate more amicable agreements. And I'll give you an example. We had somebody who was, they didn't have great punctuality at work, and they were going through something. We didn't know about it. So trying to understand what was going on before actually coming down on them hard was really important. And we actually found out that there were some health issues, and that in actual fact, they should have come to us sooner, but they were really scared to speak about it. And without doing that probing and understanding and, coming at it from empathy, and that we actually don't know what's really going on, then we could have actually made a hard situation worse. Example 6, let the other person feel that the idea is theirs. When suggesting changes, present your ideas in a way that allows others to add their input and take ownership. So if you present an idea, somebody comes up with an idea within that idea, yeah, great, okay, amazing, that makes my idea better. You now start to bring other people into your idea because they're now taking ownership. And this will lead to a higher acceptance and commitment. And a power passage around the book, which I've taken as an excerpt: you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming genuinely interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get the other people interested in you. Yet we know people who blunder through life trying to wigwag other people into becoming interested in them. Of course, it doesn't work. People are not interested in you. They're not interested in me. They're interested in themselves. The New York Telephone Company made a study of telephone conversations to find out which word is the most frequently used. You've guessed it, it is the personal pronoun I. I was used 3,900 times in 500 telephone conversations. When you see a group photograph that you're in, whose picture do you look for first? If we merely try to impress people and get people interested in us, we will never have any true, sincere friends. Friends, real friends, are not made that way. So in summary, this book is designed for anyone who deals with people, including salespeople, managers, parents, friends, educators, the list goes on. Personally, it's been one of the most influential books I've read, as its teachings have helped me build my team, and my team is my company's biggest strength. If you're interested in succeeding through others, or with and through others, read it. Again, I can't stress the importance of reading this book enough. How to Win Friends and Influence People, I would say, is one of the most important books to read if you're dealing with people. Until next time.